What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Pravi back with another live gameplay. This time we are up in the proving grounds with it. Yeah, boy. What they say the most competitive players is, we took Snag Mahomes there just to see what was popping now that we didn't got them new cap breakers. And come to find out, the same thing happens. But with skill based matchmaking, it has Snag Mahomes at power forward, but we still brought to the table what we bring to the table. And as I tell people, that is one of the key ingredients in my mind, and which is also the topic of today's video: what makes a competitive player. That's one of the things in my mind that makes a competitive player consistently bringing to the table whatever it is that you do, no matter who you're playing against, no matter what mode that you're playing in, you're always going to bring what you bring to the table. It's like, it don't matter that we're going against a black plate, a gold plate, a silver plate, a red plate. It don't matter who it is, you still bring whatever it is that you do to the table each and every game. You don't switch it up. Nobody like people who switch it up. We don't like halfways. We don't like in and outs. We want a person that's going to show up to the table and be who they are every single game. All right. Another thing that makes a person a competitive player: mastering the mechanics of movement on 2K, whether that is slipping and sliding and screen setting and diving for boards as a big man, or the dribbling as a guard, being able to chain together effective moves to create that space and open opportunities, knowing which crossovers work, which spins, step backs, which is going to give you the edge in the one-on-one situations, which also ties into the next thing, which is scoring consistency, whether that is shooting or whether that is dunking. As a big man, if you're out there taking shots, you should be shooting in the high percentile. There is no reason that you should be out here shooting 50 something percent as a big man. You should be up in the 70 percentile. And if you got all 90 something dunking and all this stuff, you should be 80 percentile as far as finishing, because your job is not to be in here forcing a bunch of shots. So scoring consistency, which is also scoring efficiency, and is what makes another thing that makes a competitive player, because scoring under pressure is crucial. Competitive players understand the timing of scoring, and you adjust your badges and the shot types, and also you understand situational awareness of how important scoring at a certain situation is, or how important moving the ball at the certain situation is. It's just the ability to be able to be consistent when it comes to scoring. These are the type of people who gonna practice they scoring type of moves, whether it is their jump shot, they gonna practice hitting that green window. If it's the big man, they just been playing big man a bunch of years, they know how to slip and slide, or they play a couple games in my career first and get the feel for they big and how it moves, and just they know when they can score. Scoring consistency is another mark of a competitive player. And then another thing of what makes a competitive player: defensive awareness. Of course, a competitive player is going to be able to excel on both ends of the court, especially being able to anticipate what their opponent is going to do. Because that's really all defense is. I feel like every time that I'm playing defense, I'm just guessing what my opponent is doing. It's like the same thing like you playing something like speed chess, checkers, anything that's like a strategy based game, like spades, where you can't see what your opponents have. You kind of got an idea based on, I mean, you don't know where a person is going until, with chess, it's more, where are they going with this? You trying to stay steps ahead of the person and not fall into the trap. um, with 2K, it's always about anticipating the opponent's moves, the switching defenders, using proper defensive settings like off ball pressure or boxing out settings are key. These anything key to stopping the opponent, you are aware to that. You know how to play that. You know how to do the reverse stack. You know how to do the regular stack. You know how to just switch. You know how to drop. You know that if your man, and which what I don't be seeing, which is sad, some guards don't understand. If you getting beat by your man, just let the big take them. You should always let the big drop low. You play high. If the big go down, you always go to the nearest 3 point line. Y'all should switch across the 3 point line to cover that because it's going to give everybody the best opportunity to score, especially with Snag Mahomes. And then another thing that makes a competitive player is efficient badge management, just knowing which badges to actually select. So many people don't even know what badges to pick. They out here getting badges that don't work. If you haven't seen my other video about the power of 99 attributes, man, listen, legend rebounder, OP. As a big man, people are skipping on that because they're trying to make they big, real rounded, be able to stretch the floor and be able to try to rebound and be able to try to steal and be able to try to dribble. It's like you're doing too much. So now they missing out on the key badge, which is legend rebounder, and they out here getting horsed on. So badge management is something else that a comp player will know how to do as far as guards understand that high steal, having Hall of Fame steal, gold to Hall of Fame steal is a priority. Having gold to Hall of Fame shooting, actually Hall of Fame to legend shooting is a priority as a point guard. Having Hall of Fame to legend playmaking, whether that's dribbling, passing, whatever you can do that works for you, but I always recommend that passing as a guard should be in the Hall of Fame goal area, and as well as your playmaking, because you know you got to get yourself open, you got to get the buckets, you got to be able to demand a double team. I feel like that as a guard's job, it's about being able to demand their that double team. So competitive players know how to pick the right combination of badges. Like they're gonna optimize their setup, and they're gonna make it dependent on the mode that they play the most, whether it be park, rec, pro am, proving grounds. They're gonna make sure that they build can maximize that effectiveness in that mode. And then just having that basketball IQ is another thing that marks a competitive player. I mean, it's knowing where to be on the court, what's going on the game, how to adjust on the fly, being able to have multiple people talking in your ear and still be able to play your game. Because in competitive games, that is what's going on. It's a bunch of talking going on. It's a bunch of emotion going on. Some people handle competitive gameplay situations different than others. Some people doesn't bother them too much that they're in this competitive game. Some people, they are stressed, they're yelling, da 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 da. And sometimes you got to know that that could be a good player. You got to just be able to tune them out and still be able to play your game. Having that basketball IQ is knowing when to pass, knowing when to shoot, knowing when to exploit the mismatches. That's what's going to separate the average players from the competitive ones every single time. It's about the awareness of court space and understanding screens, off ball movement. All of that stuff is critical to winning. The big man passing out on a rebound for to open up for more 3 point opportunities instead of going up for twos, which is the main thing that I do with Snag Mahomes. So basketball IQ. And then another thing that is a mark of competitive players is customizing the best build. It's always about creating that best my player build, which is essential. It's going to be the main thing that competitive players are is expert builds makers. We're going to tweak them attributes. We're going to choose the best height, wingspan, weight. You're going to ensure that you got the right physical stats and speeds that's going to give you the best edge in every single gameplay that you're going to be playing. That's how I made Snag Mahomes. I leaned into what I do, and I also leaned into what I felt the meta of the game was, how it felt during season one. Things are bound to change. As they said, the biggest gameplay patch is going to be coming prior to season two. With me knowing this information, I'm not thinking that, oh, this is going to be the greatest build of all time. Now, I feel like it's going to last because I'm doing something that is vital to the game of basketball, which is rebounding and passing. It's kind of hard to make a mistake with a build that is at a very good height for his for center, and then you do something that is vital to the game, which is rebound and be able to pass the ball. So understanding making the best builds is part of what is making a competitive player and understanding the game modes also. Every game mode plays differently. That is another thing of what makes a difference in competitive players versus low level players. Competitive players can basically excel in different modes like my team, my career, park. It doesn't matter. You can adapt to each rules of each mode. While they have their own meta and strategies kind of tailored for each environment, you're still able to carve out your own little path and be able to thrive. You can have a role on a real pro am team that's striving for something. I've done it before. Like I've been on pro am teams. Now I'm out here playing by myself. See, I when I should have been streaming and making all this YouTube content, and people told me I should have. Even my girl was telling me I wasn't. But now that I am, I'm by myself, but I'm still a good player, and I'm gonna continue to prove it because everywhere that I walk in, I'm bringing my game and I understand it and I'm bringing it to you here on YouTube. Like I said, understanding the game modes. I understand proving grounds is different from rec. Why the players still kind of play the same, it's way different because the steals go all everybody out there is Deion Sanders in his best season. Not just Deion Sanders in his later seasons, you know what I'm saying, on his last season. This Deion prime time Super Bowl winning. Every season he won the Super Bowl. Deion Sanders. You get what I'm saying? That's what's going on in proving grounds because people stealing like crazy. Another thing that is vital to competitive players and what give them the advantage is team chemistry. The ability to be able to communicate and coordinate with your teammates are essential. So having a squad, like I said, when I used to have a squad, I always used to have a 85 and better win percentage in every single game mode that I play. And it's because we could communicate. We knew that yelling at each other, we didn't get in our feelings. We won. We laugh about it. We'll laugh about it the next day. Some days we did lead a party where we wasn't on the best of foots, but we didn't let it drag over. And that chemistry definitely carries over. You have to, if you really want to have the highest win percentage in this game, which I know that to get out of where I'm at right now, which I can do by myself, 65, 70 something win percentage. If I want to get up into the 85s into the 90 win percentage, then you got to have that chemistry, and that's what comes with teammates. Um, so that's another thing what competitive players understand. And then another thing is adapting to the patch updates. That is another thing that marks competitive players. They make builds that either are very good to the that's going to be good throughout the game because like I said, specializing in something like I'm a center and I specialize in rebounding and passing. Think about the game of basketball and you know how 2K is going to be patching and what is going to be affected. If anything, my build is going to get better because the passing lane steals are going to go down. So I'll be able to actually pass the ball and get more touchdowns like Pat Mahomes because the people came to see touchdowns, not interceptions. So being able to adapt to patches like competitive players, we're going to be able to adapt to the changes and stay updated on how they impact gameplay. So you got to be updated. You can come to my page, stay on X. And then another thing, this is one of the biggest things. The final thing too, it's the mental toughness and composure. So when you get in those clutch games or those games where the opponent is not just laying down, they're competitively going against you, the people who can keep their head in the game and stay focused, those are competitive players. It's not the players who can only ball when everything is good or when they with the best situations. It's the people that no matter the situation, no matter the teammates, no matter who they going against, like I said at the beginning of the video, they bring what they bring to the table every single time. You don't sit here, oh, you normally be hitting 10 threes a game and now you only give us 2 or 3. Hold on, what happened? You was just begging for the ball because you trying to get 50 last game. Now you quiet being a cone with only 8 points. See, you can't be like that. Mental toughness and your composure. No matter who you going against, no matter the situation, you stay the same. When the game is on the line, the people who really want the ball, that's who you know are really competitive players. They can go to the next level and find a role. That's why I'm like, me, I know I can go to the next level and find a role. I went from playing, I only played point guard, isolation. I didn't even play. And now I'm playing inside big. Now I can play stretch big. I can play so many different roles on the court. I didn't play as the lock slasher from the corner on a pro-am team and averaged over 20 points. Like, I'm just saying, mental toughness and composure. But comment your opinion. It's your boy Pravi. I'm out. We're going to keep that content rolling and we're going to keep it rolling hot.